welcome to another special edition of Taking Over. I am OLED Ed Fries, back with the headset like the old days. And this to my right is the lovely, natural Astrid Pizarro. Astrid, how you doing tonight?
I'm in a celebratory mood. Woohoo! 1 year. We did it.
As Mr. Chris Best says, congratulations on 1 year. Yes, if you guys missed the story last week, this is our 1 year consecutively of the two of us, one of us being here every week to go ahead and talk about NXT. Andre's 4-month sub to Astrid Pizarro. Thank you very much, Andre. We greatly appreciate that. Bobby Munson saying good evening and happy 1 year anniversary. But I picked up the slack after Parrish was unfortunately had some work things going on and wasn't able to pick up. So his work shifts were conflicting with the show. So I picked up the slack 1 week. I jumped in again the next week. And the rest is history. So to go ahead and have a little bit of fun, Astrid has greatly prepared a video to highlight some of our better moments for the last year. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to turn off this. And I'm going to turn off this. And here you go. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Oh, hold on.
Everyone to the very first edition of
The audio is not playing.
I can hear it. It just kind
You
of
can
low.
hear it?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me. Oh, I know why I couldn't hear it. I turned off the audio on my device so that I couldn't hear it. All right. Let's try it again. We might not be able to have great audio because we're having to try to do this through like 3 different devices.
Everyone to the very first edition of Taking Over. I am your host, Chris Parrish, and this is just the natural Astrid. Thank you for joining.
Of course, I had to.
Well, I mean, I think we got to do this stuff. We got to start this off the right way. I think we know 1, 2, 3.
Welcome to Taking Over. I'm not Chris Parrish, but I am Ed Fries. Back again for a one night only NXT reunion. Sorry. Joined by my tag team partner. Nope, not that way. Have not listened too long. That way. Astrid Pizarro, normal co-host of Taking Over. Parrish will be back. Parrish is taking the night off. He's got some things to take care of. Don't worry. He'll be back in his normal seat. Taking over next week. To Taking Over. Again, I'm joining Astrid one more time. We couldn't do it once. The dynamic duo's got to be back for 2. Welcome to Taking Over. I am Ed Fries, and I'm joined by Astrid Pizarro. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing well. And we're going to start the show with some news. Might as well start the show with some news. Mm-hmm. So, as you all know, Parrish started the show when NXT ended over at our other home and whatnot. But things have changed, and unfortunately, Parrish hasn't been able to make the shows lately. And he has asked me that if I would temporarily take over Taking Over.
Sure.
So you got it back. The NXT twosome. Hello. Oh, wait, we're on the wrong side. Hold on. There we go. We can fix things. I'm Ed Fries. I'm joined by Astrid Pizarro. Astrid, how are you tonight?
Doing good. How are you?
This was a wild episode of NXT.
Oh, we go right into it. Okay.
and I use wild in all connotation. Welcome to another episode of Taking Over. I am OLED, and I'm joined by my tag team. Wait, that's not Astrid Pizarro. That's Mark Talks Wrestling. How you doing, Mark?
Oh, I'm pulling my pants. Not gonna lie, I am so excited, but at the same time, I know I'm not going to be anywhere near how good Astrid is.
There you go.
I am in misery.
Hey, wrong one. This one. Our wonderful friend Mark Talks Wrestling is joining us. Dallas's #1 fan. He always has Dallas boys on top. Joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thankfully, by our wonderful guest, SCW Steve from the SCW Wrestling Channel. We love being on his show. We thought once we should bring him on our show.
Well, I can tell you, it's a privilege to be here, and I thank you for both having me. And funnily enough, last year on my channel for the Great American Bash, you were both guests. We were all talking about the show last year. So to have me this year here, honestly, it's a privilege to be on our local establishment and to be collaborating with you both once again.
I thought about that on Tuesday when we were talking about it. I'm like, we were on his show last year, and it was pure happenstance. I didn't even realize it until literally Tuesday. I was like, oh wait, didn't we talk about this show last year together too?
Yeah.
Very much. It's meant to be.
It is.
Yeah.
The great things are always meant to be. Brett
Absolutely.
versus Owen, the heel turn on the Shield, the third man in the NWO, and the three of us talking about the Great American Bash.
Absolutely. Shall we reveal the news stuff now? I signed a 4-year contract, so I'll be here for the next 4 years. We'll all talk about the Great American Bash once again.
There we go. We're locked in. Steve broke the big news. 4 years, me, Ashton, and Steve. No matter what channels we work on, we're going to be doing this every year for the next 4 years.
Absolutely.
Let's see.
Not other than the wonderful, the talented, and hardworking Ella J. How are you, Ella?
What's up, Astrid? I'm so happy to be here.
Parish, I totally forgot I used to be on the show. Laugh a lot.
4 minutes, Parish. 4 minutes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Battlegrounds preview show. I am OLED Ed Fries, and I'm joined by my tag team partner, astridpizarro. And we are joined by the one and only BR Doc, writer for all things pro wrestling at Bleacher Report, Doc Chris Mueller. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys.
And we are joined by Victor Taylor Perry, the man, the myth, the inspirational legend himself. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to talk about Vengeance Day.
Angry at Ali for the refereeing and trying. He's like, just keep being a fantastic professional wrestler.
Yeah.
Leave your refereeing, days behind you. And Tyler Bate comes in bad out of hell. He's pissed off.
He's like, that's rubbish.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark.
Mark, you'll hear that tomorrow, and I'll get a message. She didn't do it right. So yeah, those are some of the funny moments that we had. Thank you again, Ashford, for putting that video together. I greatly appreciate it. There's been so many other moments. We talked about doing a video where we went ahead and did all the times that one of us or both of us pointed the wrong direction. We talked about doing a video where it was just all of our epic fails, where Ed didn't hit the right buttons. Oh, man. There were many, many conversations about what videos to do. But a lot of those would have taken a lot of time.
I said, I don't have time for that, Ed.
But we're here. We're here to talk about NXT one more time. It's not the last show. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll be back next week, too. Don't you worry. Astrid, what was your thoughts as NXT just all of a sudden, then, now, forever? Ding, ding, ding. We're having Chad Gable versus Noam Dar.
No. I was not mad, but I was just like annoyed because I know how the match is going to end somehow because Noam Dar and Metaphor. So I was not looking forward to this being the opener of our matches. It's like, I didn't want Gable to lose it, but I knew it was going to. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of the opener.
I was a fan of the whole match. I liked the way that they did everything they did here. Yes, it's the Noam Dar special. Like it's rinse, repeat Noam Dar special. But it's not exactly the Noam Dar special. And I think we're getting, if we're not getting a rematch, I think we're getting Otis versus Dar at Deadline. That's where I think this leads to. Dar wins round 2 when Mensa goes ahead and makes sure that he kicks Chad Gable as Chad Gable runs into the post. Round 3 is had mostly during the commercial break. By the way, they also had the longest 20-second break during the commercial break in the history of 20 seconds. That break was at least a minute and a half before that next round started while they were in the picture-in-picture ad break, which I thought was funny. Lash distracts the referee after Chad Gable gets an amazingly quick fall in round 5 where he hits his Chaos Theory. By the way, Chaos Theory is still my favorite current finisher right now. That rolling Chaos Theory German suplex is sensational. It's less impressive when it's somebody tiny like Noam Dar and it's not Bronson Reed, Gunther, big guys like that. But it's just such an amazing move in the way he does it. But as Lash Legend distracts the referee, Noam Dar gets another cheap shot in where he hits him in the back of the head. In round 6, they fight back and forth, and Gable almost gets him to tap out, but 1 second too late because the bell had already rung, and the match is over. And that's why I'm saying that it can go either way. There's a reason for a rematch because he didn't lose, but Noam Dar is a heel, and he's never going to give him that. So I know that we're getting something different. And then my favorite part of the entire thing is the part where they make Lash Legend feel very uncomfortable, which is fantastic. Because she's acting. And you could tell the way she's acting that she's acting uncomfortable. Because they obviously would have run this by her ahead of time. She pushes Maxine down. And Maxine takes the biggest fall. Like, this girl almost fell out of the ring. She was in the center of the ring and almost fell out. That's how hard Nat Lash pushes her. And then Mensa's like, yeah, I could do that too. And he tries to push Otis. And Otis is just like, did a fly hit me? Did something hit me? Because it didn't work. And he pushes Mensa out and he starts hitting on Lash with his little gyrations and stuff. And then Maxine gets up and she slaps Lash and Lash falls right into Otis's arms. Otis, come on. Otis, come on. You have Maxine right there. Why are we hitting on Lash Legend?
She helped him, though.
You had Mandy Rose. You then traded in Mandy Rose and you were flirting with Maxine. Hell, you got her away from Mason Mansoir before they got fired, so it's probably a good thing that you got her away from them because she might have gone too. But you have Maxine right there and you're hitting on Lash Legend? Come on. Come on, Otis. Chris Best, Otis and Dar would be a fun match to see. Then again, pretty much anything that Otis does is great. I agree. And people forget how great Otis can be. Because I remember the moment that everything switched for me with Otis. And it was the match against Ciampa. It's the NXT title match that's long forgotten in Ciampa's NXT reign. During that first no music Ciampa title reign with Goldie. Or for some ungodly reason on an NXT show, they're like, Ciampa versus Otis for the NXT title. And we're like, why? He wasn't a singles wrestler. I don't know the last time he had a singles match before that. But they're like, you two, singles title match. And Otis put on a fucking show, and it was great. I can't wait for Noam Dar to lose this title again.
Yes, please. It was a lot more interesting where he wasn't champion. He was chasing it and like trying to want it back. But now that he has it back, it's not as interesting.
Barry says that trophy could have been a good title, but it's basically a joke title now. To an extent. I mean, NXT's using what's there because they wanted to bring Noam back. And they're like, well, if we're bringing him back, we have this Heritage Cup that we're not doing anything with. We can use that because he is the champion. Like, I don't think this was in there. I don't think when Sean was writing down his cooking list of like, all right, I need this ingredient. I need to bring these guys back to NXT. I need to do this, make sure my women's division is the best women's division in North America. He's writing down all the things on the list. I don't think make the Heritage Cup a viable championship was on that list of things to do. And mind you, he's doing a good job with all of his other titles, making them relevant. The NXT Women's Championship is incredibly relevant. Ilya Dragunov's NXT title, while it's not always the most relevant title in the show, you always look for it and there's something going on with it. The North American Championship is everywhere because of Dominic Mysterio and Judgment Day. And mind you, while I don't like Dominic, and I think that Wesley is right and he has the world's most punchable face, Mello, Wesley, Dominic Mysterio, I'm not going to include Trick because he only held it for like 4 days. That three group of guys have made this championship feel like something.
Yeah.
I mean, Mello calling it the A championship and just flat out saying, this is going to be the title that everybody wants to wrestle for. Wesley in all the title defenses and all the multi-man matches. And Dominic, while having less matches and making the title matches not feel quite as important, has brought that title to another level because we see it every week on Raw. He's focusing the main storyline on Raw every week in and week out. And we're constantly hearing North American champion. So they've made that title feel important. Sean will figure out what to do with the Heritage Cup at some point. I think he's mostly hanging on to it as a placeholder until we get to France in February or May. And we go, hey, look, NXT Europe's here. Take your crap back. We don't want it.
Yeah, I think definitely next year will be the reason why it goes away from here.
Yeah, like I said, I think it definitely absolutely goes back to NXT Europe when that gets started up again at some point. But no, I love this match. I thought it was great. It was a nice way to start the show. And I'm like, okay, cool. This match opens the show. We don't have to worry about what happens to main event because the women will main event with the NXT Women's Championship match. But we get the family talking about, they were trying to help Chase U. We don't think we're done with them because, Andre Chase has got some stuff going on and apparently Tony's in there still. And hashtag I believe in Andre Chase. Andre's innocent. Whatever's going on, it's not Andre. I have a feeling JC's the cause of all of this, I think. I think that's what we're going to find out in the end. But they show up to the restaurant. They're talking to everybody. They show up and Adriana Rizzo, formerly some weird name that I don't remember from last week that we talked about. She's the new girl here with them. And she feels much more together in these two segments that they do with the family. She feels more as a part of it. I still wish she dropped the accent because the accent is so forced. It's not funny.
The accent's ridiculous. It tells you from a person who has an accent.
That accent is almost as bad as Astrid trying to say rubbish in that video we talked about. But it's fun. We then see Mello and Trick backstage talking about the Iron Survivor. And Trick's all excited because he's going to go out there with Mello and they're best friends again. Give the fans what they want. Mello and Trick side by side. And Mello's like, nope, it's okay. You stay here. You won your match. Good job. I win my match. And then we go ahead and, we'll talk about the Iron Survivor after that. And Trick's like, no, slow down. Let's just win your match first. Briggs is going to bring Jensen and Fallon, so I should be out there with you. No, I'm going up by myself. Trick's like, okay. He walks away. Trick's all smiles, and I'm like, I don't like this.
I just want to go, wham.
Should have had his buddy out there with him. And then all of a sudden, Lyra starts coming to the ring, and I'm like, it's 8:24. Why are we having the women's championship match right now? But there's reason for this. Lyra gets attacked. Now, it's not the most vicious attack. And I didn't like the way Lyra was selling that she had a concussion from hell from this itty-bitty attack. But, okay. You're giving us a reason. I'm okay with it. Maybe Lyra will lose the championship. She's vulnerable. She's been attacked. What did you think of this as you hit your head as I talked about it?
I felt so dramatic. She only hit her from behind, and the way she was holding herself, it made it seem like she hit her from the front. And so I was like, did I miss something? I don't know. The way she was like selling the injury I feel like it didn't go with what the injury was or what the attack was. And I was like, they're making us feel like Zaya's a threat. I get it. But at the same time, I don't like the way it was being sold throughout the whole show. I was like, she only hit her once. If she got hit with a chair, something like that. I will understand the concussion part of it, like the test and everything with the doctor, but come on.
Yeah, they needed to go a little bit further with this to make it feel a little bit more real. I like that they tried something. They're like, look, this match means nothing, and everybody knows it means nothing. But like, We'll try to make it mean something. Maybe Zaya will win.
Yeah.
We have Chris Best saying, by the way, that sounds what happened on Raw when Kaiser told Vinci not to come with him to the ring for his match. It does.
That's true.
There's nothing new in wrestling for the most part.
Mhm.
I mean, there was at Full Gear, but then again, not all things that are new in wrestling are good ideas. Vampire Hearst Page. Not all things are good ideas. Anyways, before we get on to the next match, because NXT had to... Now, what did you think, before we go to the thing I was going to do, what did you think about NXT recovering and being like, this match was supposed to happen a little bit later on in the show, but we're going to put it on right here? Not the match, but just like, what do you think of the idea of them being like, oh, we're shuffling things around? Like, they obviously knew this is what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But what
Like
did you think?
it feels like a good way to sell the attack made the match change the order of how they had things going on tonight. Like it's nice to see something like that happen. Like if you kind of see people like scrambling around, like trying to make the changes, that's understandable because they're going by what we saw. And I was like, finally, it's nice to see it happen because it makes the attack or like something that happened like seem on and scheduled, it makes it real in that sense.
Yeah, I thought it was nice. It was an interesting way to get into what they got into. Before we do that, we do want to go ahead. We did have some friends give us some thanks on in our chat boxes with some videos, so we're going to go ahead and play that. And since she's right here, Melball says, lovelies, we're going to go ahead and play a thank you from our good friends at Andre and Melball Wrestling Chat.
Hello, I'm Andre C. Right over here is my partner Melball at Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. We're here to wish a happy anniversary to our tag team partners at Taking Over.
Yes, our awesome alternative tag team partners, OLED Fries, the natural, the beautiful, talented Astrid Pizarro. Congratulations, you guys, on your amazing anniversary. Taking Over has been an incredible show, a staple here on our local establishment, and we look forward to many, many more years. Congratulations, you guys.
Congratulations, guys.
So yes, thank you to Andre and Melball. As they said, our tag team partners. If for those that don't know, Astrid works most every week on Fridays when work doesn't get in the way for either one of them. With Melball on Women's Wrestling Showcase, and of course, Andre C is my tag team partner for all things Marvel on Marvel Talk right here at our local establishment. So it was great that they go ahead and throw that in there. So make sure that you go ahead and give them a follow on YouTube at Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk, because they cover all things Japanese wrestling, whether it be Stardom, whether it be New Japan, all kind. Oh, I'm sorry, not Women's Wrestling Show.
You would think he would know the name of the show when he made it up to begin with, but.
You know, I made that up a long time ago for a show that's not even the show that you're now hosting, just so we're clear. There's a reason why the initials are LWS. Let's just leave it at that. Anyways, the Garzas, as I keep calling them, because they've not given them a name, and they're not calling them Los Lotharios anymore. So it's just Carrillo and Garza again. So I'm just going to go with the Garzas because I think that makes more sense. Taking on Edris, Enofe, and Malik Blade. Ashley, what did you think of this match?
My favorite part of this match is how uniform they look together. Like those tag team moves, it just reminds me a lot of like the Motor City Machine Guns. How they feel like, I don't know how they communicate with each other in such a way that everything just on point. And I was like, holy crap, I love seeing that with them. And obviously, like you can see it's something that it makes sense with them being a family more than anything, but it's still nice to see them like when one tags, the other one runs and does something else. And I was like, holy moly, I couldn't keep up with them. So it reminded me a lot of the Motor City Machine Guns because they do that type of thing. Like I don't know how they tell each other what to do next, but they do so many things that are unexpected, but the timing is amazing. And I really love that in this match.
Yeah, it was a whole bunch of fun. I really enjoyed their tag team offense as well. And in here, we got to see the viciousness of the Garzas mixed with Malik Blade really getting a showcase in this match. Like, Enofe got some showcase, but most of this match was a Malik Blade showcase, which was nice because I felt like I didn't feel like the Garzas controlled the match and it was a squash. I didn't feel like it went too long for a team that didn't deserve to be in it. But I still feel like I got to see more of Malik, Blade, and Edris and Enofe than we ever see in any of the matches where they win. So I really liked the back and forth with this, but the Garzas are on another level when it comes to their tag team wrestling. I saw it online. It's not my own idea. I've seen it a lot of places. I really hope that they go ahead and take the Garzas and bring them back to the main roster with Elektra Lopez. I want them to bring Elektra Lopez up with them. I want them to leave Lola down right where she is in NXT by herself. Let her float by herself. Because I think that Santos Escobar needs to bring back Legado del Fantasma. And if he brings Elektra with him, once Ray's back, you then have 3-on-3. And you go, well, why? Just because they're Spanish doesn't mean that they belong in the with Legado. But there's a reason why you use specifically these two gentlemen. It's because of the fact that Hector Garza was one of the founding members of the original LWO. And when the LWO formed, guess who wasn't asked to be a part of it? The Los Lotharios. So it makes perfect sense that they'd be pissed off and irritated. And yes, this is way too good of storytelling for WWE to ever use it on television, but I want it to happen because at least it makes sense.
Yeah, if you think about it too, if like the name is Legado, talking about legacy, and you have Garza and Carrillo who are part of Mexican legacy, so I think that will make sense in that part of the storyline too, because Del Toro, Cruz, and Joaquin don't have that type of deal when it comes to them and the story behind their families being involved in wrestling. So it'll be so much interesting if you get the three guys who do have a legacy of being second generation superstars and having the history they have behind and being Mexican stars and the family part of it too. I feel like it's so much more of a connection there too that you could put with them being behind Legado.
By the way, the Garzas are losing next week's match against the family pretty easily, right? Wow. It's going to be a fun match, but they're not winning the titles, right?
Yeah.
Which is sad because I really want them to do that, but at the same time, I want them to have something bigger and better going on. Speaking of bigger, at least, we got Josh Briggs backstage talking to Fallon Henley and Brooks Jensen, and he tells him, you know what? Nope. JBL gave me this opportunity. He believes in me. He thinks that I can earn this opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and do this by myself. And I'm like, oh, God, Carmelo's losing. Oh, God, Carmelo's losing. By the way, I love Josh Briggs. I've watched him and Carmelo Hayes have almost the exact same match they had tonight for years over here on the Indies because they're both relatively local guys. I don't think Briggs is from the area like Melo is, but I know he wrestled in the Northeast with Evolve, with New England Wrestling, things like that for a while up here before he got called up to WWE. So I was very excited to see Briggs versus Melo. By the way, JBL, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss JBL on the matches that you made for this week's thing. By the way, I do love how the one who made the most sense with all of their picks is the guy who used to be the NXT commissioner. Because I think a lot of people forget that JBL has a history with NXT. He was the commissioner for a while there. If I remember correctly, he's the one who technically took Paige's title away from her when she went to the main roster, which is why they had to take the title away from Solo Sikoa. But Dominic Mysterio could keep the title, even though Solo, for the exact same reason, had to... Let's not remember all that. Let's just remember that JBL is a wrestling god, and he picked two banger of matches for this week.
Yeah, that's true.
And you can tell by the way the matches were picked and the people that were in them that he actually washes the products.
It's the only one that made sense so far.
I was going to say, because the matches made sense. Josh Briggs makes sense as to why JBL would like him. He is a bigger dude. He is that Stan. He's smaller than them. He's not as bulked as like a Stan Hansen or a Vader or a JBL, like he said himself. But all the reasons that JBL gave for why he gets this opportunity makes a ton of sense, as opposed to Lash Legend, Lita's just like, I've been told Lash Legend, so yeah, sure, she gets this opportunity. And even with the ladies, he's like, Blair Davenport reminds me of a female version of me. And I'm like, I can see that. The cheating, I take no prisoners, I do what I want, I get what I want mindset of Blair Davenport makes sense. And he's like, well, styles make matches, so Thea Hale. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. These two have very different styles. They're two different types of personalities. The match makes sense. You're not putting itty bitty Roxanne Perez in a match with big, tall, I can't wrestle Lash Legend.
Yeah, I'm still surprised it all made sense. That's just the most shocking part of all this.
No, because JBL, like, we give JBL a lot of shit, and he should. He's a bully. He's not always the greatest person in the world. But at the end of the day, he's always understood wrestling. And when he says, I'm going to watch these matches on Tuesday because I watch NXT every week, I feel like I actually believe him. Now, does he watch it live like we do? No. I'm sure he watches it like Thursday afternoon when he's doing a workout or something. But it makes sense that that's something he would do, that he would watch the product.
No, but I think back of like the pattern that we had too so far, because you can tell the other ones were just being told what to say, and there's like a script to it. And with him, it didn't sound that way. So that's the first time of all the legends that I'm like, can this one should have been the last one instead of Lawler, because now I'm not looking forward to Lawler next week.
No, Lawler needs a script. God, he's gonna need a script next week.
I feel like we went from like it was down, and then JBL put it up, and I was like, now it's gonna go down again. I feel like JBL should have been the last one. Come on, people.
Well, no, the last one is going to be Shawn Michaels when he has like all the people who lost have like, so we're going to get Tyler Bate versus who lost to Trick? Who was it last week that lost to Trick?
Dang it, I forgot.
Can't even remember. It's going to be Tyler Bate versus Carmelo Hayes.
Oh, Coffee.
Versus Joe Coffey versus whoever Lawler picks next week and loses. I think those four are going to have a four-way. And the winner of that gets that fifth spot. I think it's going to be the same thing in the women's division. By the way, we know that Kiana James is one of these two for next week for the women, right? Like she has to be one of the next two for the women.
Yep.
And Braun Breakers for the men, right?
Yeah. And then I was thinking, because like I said it before, I feel like we get that interaction between Kiana and Tiffany to like have them working together for like a little bit, and then they kind of turn each other during the match. We're gonna get some kind of spot like that during the match with both of them, as they feel like they kind of understand each other, but at the same time, when they notice that they're the only two in the ring, they're gonna have to go against each other somehow. So that's what I'm looking for, that moment.
I don't think Kiana gets in the match. I think Roxanne's gonna screw her like Kiana screwed Roxanne.
I would. Yeah, why not?
Going back to us talking about the North American title, because we've been talking about something else and I didn't get a chance to do it. Barry says Dominic is special. Yes, he's very special. I don't think we beat it in the same way, but yes, Dominic is very special. Him and his chicken tenders.
I thought they were nuggets.
No, tenders. So Selena kept calling them chicken tenders when she was trying to order them from Dominic's cell phone when she prank called them a couple weeks ago.
That was the best thing.
We get Lyra backstage saying that the match is definitely going to happen tonight. And I'm like, oh, well, now we get it in the main event because she needs time to recover. She needs time to get cleared. Great, cool. And before we talk about Barry's favorite thing, which I'm going to go back to a comment from the beginning of the show that I saved for now. Hello, everyone. I might be having nightmares tonight because of the Robert Stone family dinner. Before we get to the family dinner, when you talk about things that might give you nightmares, there's only one other person we can talk about, and that's Mr. Chris Parrish. So we're going to go ahead and play a video from Chris Parrish.
Hey guys, Chris Parrish. I know Astrid, you and Ed, they know who I am, just for the viewers. But yeah, no, this is just a set of congratulations to both Ed and Astrid for 1 year of taking over. I know Astrid, you and I meant to take over this platform, so to speak, with an NXT coverage show. Things got in the way. Obviously, I had to leave. Couldn't see anybody better than Ed to take over for myself and look at the magic, look at all the fun, look at all these amazing episodes you're able to have with each other and just take this show to a completely different level that
I always believed the two of you could do. So very happy for you guys, and hope to see another year between you two. And let's hope to see Taking Over rise to one of the best shows of all time, let alone just one of the best shows for right now. Thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you, Parrish. That was great. We appreciate it. I appreciate the spot here. Like I said, I'm still filling in temporarily. 1 year later, I'm still temporarily here. Allie coming in saying happy 1 year. Thank you, Allie. We greatly appreciate it.
Wait. Let's see if it comes up this time. No? Yes, there you go.
Do the thumbs up. The double thumbs up.
Is it double? Wait, double
thumbs up, yeah.
Would it recognize it? Maybe. No.
No, it's not recognizing it.
There you go.
It was Allie who taught me this, that if you have a Macintosh device, if you have an Apple device and you're in any kind of video chat, there are certain things you can do where things will happen, because I can do all of those things and nothing happens because PC Master Race and I have a PC versus Astrid on her iMac over there. We got like the refs jumping in and saying, is this temporary like Terry Funk's temporarily retired? Yes, this until this year, it is definitely the same thing as a Terry Funk retirement up until this year. I unfortunately think that Terry Funk's retirement from here on out is going to be a little bit more permanent. Rest in peace, Mr. Terry Funk. We greatly appreciate all the work you've done, and we appreciate the great work that Mike the Ref has done. And if you want to go ahead and check out Mike the Ref, you can go ahead and check him out. Oh, I didn't. Sorry, trying to type and host a show at the same time is not going well.
There
we go. He's telling me to stop it, but I'm going to go ahead and shut him out anyways. Mike is a great friend of the channel. Make sure you catch him tomorrow night as he hosts an AEW Dynamite watch along, where you can see Adam Page drinking somebody else's blood, I'm sure. God, that I will not stop talking about that spot because it bothered me that much. No. There are certain things that are good in wrestling, and then there are things like that Texas Death Match that just don't belong in wrestling. I'm sorry.
I don't like blood, but I guess the match was good. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like they could have done it differently. Speaking of things that aren't going to be talked about greatly, in a different side, Mike's going to have a fruit punch special on stream tomorrow night.
Yes.
There you go, Mike. Things that were dumb but funny was definitely this next segment with Von Wagner at Robert Stone's house. Oh God.
You can tell this was your favorite part, can't you?
See, I kind of enjoyed all of this. I thought it was great, but I thought it was great in the fact that it was a train wreck. Like, this is great the same way that, like, the Real Housewives are great because it's a train wreck and it's just great to sit here and laugh at it and it's not good. Mike says Von Wagner for an Emmy. No, please, God, no. And Barry Monkey, who is the biggest Von Wagner fan, the Robert Stone family dinner was weird, awful acting, awful script, but oddly fascinating, like a multi-vehicle pileup on the motorway. I couldn't take my eyes off it. I was waiting for the scary kids to say the sausages were made from their last uncle. You know, just so everybody's clear, this is Robert Stone's real family. Like, this isn't a fake family like Randy Orton's used in the past and most wrestlers used in the past. This is his. I looked up his wife's Instagram. Well, it's not as creepy as it sounds. I looked up Robert Stone on Google, and then I found that I found out who his wife was, and it's the same name. And if you click on her name, it brings you directly to her Instagram. So it's not as creepy as it sounds, but I did find out that it is the same lady. And by the way, good job, Mr. Stone. Good job. Marrying up is always great. But no, this was weird. Von Wagner brought cosmic brownies. It's not creepy. I promise. It's just Google. It's
work
creepy.
Research.
If it's just Google and Instagram, it's not creepy. Just so we're clear. Anyways, Von Wagner brought cosmic brownies. Quiet, Mike. Cosmic brownies to the dinner, and he ate it. Please.
Dang. Somebody's getting roasted now.
Well, everybody, it's been fun. We had 1 year. That's good. We had 52 episodes of me and Astrid. We know more. Next week, there'll be a new co-host and hopefully new chatters.
Next time you should say I did it so it looks better, maybe.
No, we don't tell lies. We tell the truth. Anyways, Von Wagner has this big plate. He's telling the kids to get into fights, and Robert Stone's like, no, we don't want them to fight. Canceled on the 1 year anniversary. Did it? Yeah. I'm going to get called into the Ole offices in the morning. Like Andre Chase got called into Shawn Michaels' office a couple weeks ago. He also tells the kids that he's very excited that there isn't any asparagus this time. And the kids start telling him that asparagus sucks. And Robert Stone's like, no, the kids need to learn how to eat their vegetables. And he's like, oh, yeah, kids need to eat their vegetables. Fist bump. Oh, this is, like Barry said, this is a car crash. But my God, I laughed a ton at this car crash of a segment.
I don't have words.
Nothing good came out of it. Like, it didn't tell us anything. It didn't give us anything interesting.
Yeah.
It was just 5 minutes of filler that I'm like, at the end of it, I wasn't upset that I watched it, but I didn't, it could have been better spent.
And then the kid's looking at the scars, and then he's like, I've been telling you to be staring. He's like, your father taught me to be okay with it. I'm like, oh, gosh. You're muted, Ed. See, I should do a compilation of that.
There we go. Yes, you can have a compilation of Ed's Nightmare of a Nightmare Thanksgiving only. You know what? Shh. Oh, I'm gonna pay for this show for weeks. Oh, I'm gonna pay for this show. Anyways, to take the attention off of me, let's go ahead and see what our friend Carl had to say about our 1 year anniversary.
Anniversaries are something to be celebrated. So why not celebrate our good friends Ed and Astrid on their anniversary with taking over? Congratulations to both of you. Cheers.
Hashtag Dr. Pepper sponsor Carl. His link tree is right here at the bottom, linktr.ee/Carl Carafel. You can go ahead and check out all of his fine stuff there. You can catch him every Tuesday night before we go on the air while NXT is on with our good friend Chris Best, who's here in the chat, as they host Turnbuckle Talk. This week they're talking about big returns. I wonder who they could be talking about. I won't tell you like Cody told us, because Cody had to tell us, because WWE could not go into this weekend with a mystery partner and not tell you explicitly who it's going to be because of the city that they're in.
We don't know what's CM Punk. Come on.
He might be. Barry Monkey said he had Ed written on his backwards on his cap. Did he? Maybe. We have. Mike just made a clip. Ed's gonna. Oh, okay. It's me paying for the show. I will watch it later. Thank you, Mike. I greatly appreciate it. Wesley came out to chat, and he had some fun things to say. He talks about how he feels like he's to blame for Judgment Day being where they are, because only Rhea had a championship until he lost his title to Dominic. I mean, granted, Priest was already Money in the Bank at that point, but I get what he's trying to do. I get what he's trying to say. All the fun going on there. I get it. It's good. I appreciate it. Chris Best saying, and that's not the only return we cover on the show. Very good. Like I said, I watch Turnbuckle Talk every Wednesday morning on demand because of the fact that I'm taking notes for NXT, so I don't have the time to devote to listening to Carl and Chris Best talk about all the wonderful things that they have on Turnbuckle Talk. He says that Dom is the worst person, but he has the most punchable face. And I wholeheartedly agree with Wes on this thing. He talks about how the people found him. He found himself when the people were going ahead and cheering for him. When he was North American Championship, the people believed in him. The people latched on to him. The people gave him himself back after he didn't know what was going to happen when his tag team partner randomly got fired. And you know what? I wasn't sure what he was going to do when his tag team partner got fired. But this made me believe in Wes Lee, because I wouldn't have thought he would have been the great North American champion that he was until he did it. No, he's not trying to ride on Dominic's coattails. Dominic is riding on his father and his other father's coattails. Obviously, his father being Eddie Guerrero because of the hair, and then his real father, Rey Mysterio, because of, I'm not a complete idiot. That's weird. We're gonna continue. I don't know if we're still live on Twitch, but we're gonna continue because I just got a notification saying the Twitch has been disconnected.
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep going and hope that we're still live. If we're not, please tell us in the chat because I'd greatly appreciate it. He challenges Dominic Mysterio for a match at Deadline. Dominic comes out and he says, "You know what? I don't know if I should give you that title shot. I mean, you lost to Melo, you lost to Ilya, you walked away for 2 months, you came back, you lost to Baron, you've lost your last 3 matches, and somehow you think you've earned a shot at the North American Championship." Dominic's right. Like, spade is spade. Dominic's not wrong. Dominic is absolutely correct here. But Wes says, "I'm willing to do anything to go ahead and win the North American Championship back." And Dominic says, "Oh, anything, huh? Well, fine. You know what? You talked about all these great things that you did as North American champion. I can't remember any of them. So you know what we're going to do? You're going to have to face 3 of the greatest North American champions that have reigned." And he says 3 former North American champions. And I'm like, oh, cool. We're going to get like people like Bronson Reed, people like Johnny Gargano. I'm like, people like Ricochet. I jokingly said, because Ashley's like, "No, we need heels to do Dominic's, dirty work for him." And I'm like, well, fine. Damian Priest fits. Solo Sikoa, maybe with that, connection between the Judgment Day and the Bloodline. And then because there are no other heels that have won this championship, I brought up the only other one who's definitely not going to be it, which was the Velveteen Dream. But he's terrible, and we're definitely not going to go ahead and talk about him. But he's definitely not going to be one. We do find out later on in the show it is going to be Cameron Grimes, Johnny Gargano, and Bronson Reed. I'm excited for that match. That's going to be a whole bunch of fun. What about you, Ashley? What do you think about this segment?
Sorry, trying to figure out the Twitch thing. I like this part of it. This back and forth between both of them is something that I feel like it needed to happen to really push the match more than anything. And I'm glad it happened. And then when you were, that's what I was thinking of from the get-go. I was like, oh, it can't be any faces because I'm like, they're helping Dom. And I see Gargano and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
What about Cameron Grimes?
I know, but Gargano's more of a good guy than Cameron to me, at least. It's just like if I were to rank them, like Gargano's more of a babyface than Cameron to me. But still, it's gonna be like a great match just thinking about these 4 at the same time. And then Wes has to win it to go against them. So of course Wes is gonna win it at the end, but it's still gonna be incredible just to watch it.
I mean, he doesn't necessarily need to win the match. He doesn't necessarily need to have the match at Deadline against Dominic. I mean, I think it makes sense that he will, but I don't think that he's guaranteed to be the one. But no, I thought this was a great one. We then get this fantastically narrated package between going over all of the Andre Chase University scandal stuff. And by the way, kudos NXT for having this. This is like all it is recapping everything we already know. But I love the narrator and the voice he's doing. Like it's a documentary and he's telling this great story. It's fantastic. I know that next week, Andre Chase is going to break his silence and we might find out more about what Andre Chase has supposedly done. But again, I believe in Andre Chase. Hashtag believe in Andre. Chase you. I think we have the Twitch stuff settled now. Yeah. What did you think of the narrated package here?
It just reminded me of like, I know it wasn't exactly like that, but it just reminded me like SVU. I just want to go at the end when you get those type of video packages where they recap you everything. and it's nice to see it compiled up together too, because then I missed that on the part of the audience at first, the audience walking out. So it was nice to see them get, kind of reading the newspaper, like walking out as the match is happening. And it's nice to see it like compile like such a story, and then be able to see it as like kind of like to be continued. And it's going to be continued next week when we get the reveal, hopefully.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to see what happens. We then get JC Jane backstage with Thea Hale, and JC tells her, you know what? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about Andre not being here. Don't worry about Duke not being here. They have a good reason. And she makes this face. Did you see the face she made? Yeah, I don't know, but she made a face.
It was like she was being sarcastic, let's put it like that, I guess.
But she says that she has her back tonight like she has every other night. Like she'll always have her back. And I'm like, oh, this is the beginning of the end of Thea and JC, isn't it?
Yeah, sounds right to me.
But you know what? Anything that gets Thea Hale off my TV screen will be fine. It's okay. But before we get to the next match, Tiffany Stratton is here, and of course, if Tiffany Stratton is here, it means there's only one thing that happens.
All I have to say now is it's Tiffy time.
I'm going to use that graphic till she's not here no more, because we spent time making that graphic, and she goes ahead and she congratulates Josh Briggs on winning his match and getting into the tournament. It's semi-sarcastic, but she seems semi-serious. She says, toodles, and she walks away.
He says toodles, too.
He does say toodles. He's so confused. He's not sure what's going on. But he's like, toodles? Like, he's so confused. Jensen starts talking to him, and then, of course, Fallon just cuts over Jensen. What did Tiffany want? God, this jealous bitch. Like, just stop. You didn't want Briggs. You didn't want Jensen. Stop being jealous, Fallon. You got to stop being jealous of these boys. Let them have their love connections. Everybody loves Tiffany. Everybody loves Tiffany. Especially Ludwig Kaiser. But that's a different story.
I was going to highlight the comment because we can't see it on the stream here, so that's why we're not showing them. But we have Parrish is here, so he said hello. And then Barry said maybe it was Andre Chase's birth certificate and he's secretly French-Canadian.
I mean, that could be it. He could be Canadian. That would definitely be a scandal if he was Canadian. I can see that as an absolute thing that will happen. I am now trying to load up the Twitch on mine so that I can have the comments at least. So I can see what they are when they come up. For anything else, you'll have to pull up anything else from before now. But yeah, we have that. And then we get Blair versus Thea. And it's now time for Astrid to talk about the...
You're still thinking about Tiffany?
Well, no, I'm done thinking about Tiffany. She's done. She's over. Her time's over. We've moved on. We're now talking about Blair versus Thea. But it's the second one of two women's matches on the show. I was going to say it's the only women's match on the show. I'm like, did I forget the main event? Talk about this match. This was really good.
Yeah, I feel like it was a good balance here, but I know that towards the beginning, at least, we had a lot of Thea being in control, which I was surprised about, because thinking of like Blair's character, she's more like aggressive and vicious. I was expecting her to kind of be in control most of the match. But then we had a moment that I forgot how they landed outside, and as Thea is going and sliding into the ring, Chasey's kind of trying to get the crowd hyped up behind her, and that's when people from Chase you kind of start leaving and they don't cheer, and then Chasey's like looking at them like, why aren't you not cheering? And that kind of gets to Thea a little bit there, and she gets distracted enough that Blair is able to pick up the victory. But I did like that, that part of like having, the crowd affecting her at the end, and Blair just taking that opportunity. It's like, yeah, I'm taking it now, you're out. But I wish I would have seen more from Blair in the match in itself. But still, it's nice to see her taking advantage of what happened.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good, situation here with Blair, Davenport, and the three of them all worked well together. You have JC on the outside yelling and stuff at Blair, Davenport. I wouldn't be surprised if next week's match is Kiana James versus JC Jane. Because I think from a storyline perspective, I think it makes a little bit of sense that next week would be Kiana versus JC. Out comes Roxanne to screw Kiana. And then JC gets in. And now Thea's mad at JC, but JC's like, well, not my fault. I didn't do it. It just so happened.
Mm-hmm.
And, because she's not going to turn down an opportunity at the championship.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it makes perfect sense that might be the matchup that we see next week. Because you could still get, if what I think is going to happen happens, you can still go ahead and try to be a little bit more intertwined with all these stories by going ahead and having Thea win that last chance match. And then it's like Thea, JC, Tiffany, Blair, and Lash in there. You have 4 really good, talented women, especially a couple up-and-comers. And then you have Blair who can kind of lead the match and call the match. Tiffany can help take care of that too at times. But I feel like that would be a really good, fun match to have. And you could have a lot of different intertwining stories in that. We have Barry saying, I was told on Sunday to be more positive. You know what, Barry? We love your English sense of humor where you're a little bit sarcastic and a little bit rude and a little bit, down in the dumps. But again, remember, it is 4 a.m. where you are, and we greatly appreciate you being here every Tuesday night with us as we go ahead and do this. We greatly appreciate it every time that you're here. If you want to be positive, be positive. If you want to have a little bit down, you can have a little down. Speaking of Sundays and people that host shows on Sundays, we heard from Chris Parrish. Let's hear from the other brunch buster, Bobby Munson.
Hi, Astrid. Hi, Ed. And happy anniversary to taking over. I know it's a little just past the 1-year mark, but I just want to take a moment to congratulate you both on all of your success over the past year. It comes as absolutely no surprise to me. The hard work and just absolutely endearing chemistry that the two of you have on screen is what makes taking over the success it is. It's not just your average everyday review show like you see anywhere else. You two have something special on screen, and that chemistry just goes to the success that you've built and the absolute viewership that you built over that time as well too. Happy to not only be able to share the screen with you both during that time throughout various programs, but also happy to call you both friends for life. You both are wonderful human beings. Congratulations to over 1 year of taking over, and here's to many, many more years of watching the two of you take over Tuesday nights. Congratulations.
Thank you, Bobby. We greatly appreciate it. And thank you for, allowing us to do this because, Bobby is one of the people who helps make sure that everything on this show happens. For those who don't know, behind the scenes, Bobby's the person that I get all the promotional stuff to so that Bobby can make sure that we actually produce this show and have people seeing Twitter things and whatnot. And you can find Bobby at all these places right down here. I'll leave this up there for a little bit as I've been leaving with everybody. Except I forgot with Andre and Melball, and I apologize, but we'll do that at the end of the show. We then get another really good documentary style video package. And again, these are the things that the NXT and WWE do so much better than any other wrestling company, are these video packages and story things that just are fantastic. And it's narrated by Baron Corbin. And they promised us to look at both Ilya Dragunov and Baron Corbin. And chef's kiss, because you gave us that, but not in the way we expected. Because Baron starts this entire thing only talking about Ilya. And he's like, he brings up the thing, the only person that can beat the dragon is the dragon. And he's like, Ilya, you've come to the United States. You left your wife, you left your child behind. You're all alone out here. Every week you go ahead and you fight in this ring and you entertain these fans. But what do you do afterwards? You go home to an empty apartment and you talk to your kid through a screen and you talk to your wife through a screen. And you don't have anybody to hold. You don't have anybody to hug. You don't have anybody to interact with. You just go ahead and you talk to them through a screen. And at the end of the night, you go ahead and you kiss that metal championship. Because that's the only person you get to kiss at night. And it's just chef's kiss on Baron for just being a dickhead. By the fact that Ilya's moved to this country to provide a life for his family. And he even says it. He's like, you're doing this for your children to have a better life for them. Like your mother did for you. And it's like, oh, that's almost a low blow. But it's not said in a mean way. It is, but it isn't. Like, it's a sarcastic truth. He's like, your mother did this for you, and now you're doing it to your kids. But it takes a toll on you. All these matches take a toll on you. The way you wrestle takes a toll on you. The fact that you're lonely takes a toll on you. Me? No. I come from a family with money. I have a nice big house. I have fancy cars. I have nice watches. I have a beautiful wife and family at home that I get to see every week. I have all my tequila and liquor. Why he needed to show us the bunch of liquor he has, but it made me thirsty, I'll tell you that. There's some good stuff in that closet that I want to get a taste of. But he talks about how, this family, this world has given him the opportunity to do this because of the fact that he's been ahead to just go ahead and be here with his family, and it makes him stronger. And now 2023 and 2024 are going to be Baron Corbin's year because of the fact that he's burned all the ships of the past and he's moving on to the future, and he's the best version of himself. 10 plus years after starting in here, he now thinks he's the best version of himself. Just a fantastic promo to sell this match at Deadline. What'd you think?
This one, it tore me, but no, I don't want to say in a good way, but because having him narrated, I like that part of it. And then him saying the parts about Dragona's life, it just reminds me of my own life. Because I kept thinking, I was like, dang it, that hurts me in my feels. I was like, yeah, my family and I moved here because we want a better future for ourselves. And just like him, I don't get to see my family often. We had to do video chatting and things like that, or texting to like be able to talk to each other. And I'm like, damn, that hurt me in my feels, Corbin. And I was waiting for him to say, I have a hot Puerto Rican wife. And I don't know if he did that, but I don't think I heard Puerto Rican. So you got to redo that one. I'm just letting him know. It's like, you got to point that out, honey.
That's only Anderson who talks about his hot Asian wife.
Oh, no. Barry has said it once or twice. That's how I was expecting it, too.
Oh, okay. I was to say, I haven't heard that. I know Anderson's good for whenever he talks about his wife. He doesn't talk about her. He doesn't talk about her name. He doesn't. The only descriptors that I've ever heard about Carl Anderson's wife is hot Asian wife. And that literally comes from his own mouth in all of his promos. Because that's the only way he refers to her. Which is, by the way, fantastic. Like, at least he thinks that she's hot. Like, that's good, right? I don't know.
It's like, Corbin, I need a redo. Hot Puerto Rican wife. Say that again. Come on.
We have Bobby and Barry going back and forth in the chat talking about how great Bobby is, and he is a great person. Barry says, Bobby's an amazing young man, but really should be in bed at this time, ready for school in the morning. To which Bobby says, Barry's right. I'm heading to bed because of school, a.k.a. work. Starts for me at 6 a.m. Good night, Bobby. Have a great night. Thank you for joining us tonight. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure you guys catch Bobby. I don't know if they're having a show this week. I assume they are because they're both Canadian and they're not American. So they're probably going to have a nice Thanksgiving show of Ring Respect Radio this Thursday night at 9:05. So definitely go ahead and check that out. This was great. I'm very excited for this match. I didn't need to be more excited for this match, but this promo was just great. Yeah. And it sells the match so much better than anything else. And now, since Belle's still here, because I just saw her comment about Bobby when we played Bobby's video, Eddy Thorpe returns.
Yay!
Eddy Thorpe versus Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. Charlie in the Catch Point Factory, I guess I should call it. By the way, no Damon Kemp this week.
I thought it was him at first, and I realized it wasn't.
You noticed when the guy wasn't the big burly black dude that it was Charlie?
No, I was expecting him to be at ringside, so the way I was looking at it from the angle, I had seen Gulak and then Bourne, so I thought Damon was next to them, and then they moved the camera to the other side, and I was like, oh, there's only two of them. Interesting.
Yeah, there's only the two of them this time. It was only the three of them. Yeah, no, it was a good match. Nothing fantastic. I mean, it's a Charlie Dempsey match. They're not ultra exciting because Charlie Dempsey isn't that kind of a wrestler. And I enjoy watching his matches, but afterwards I'm not like, oh, I love that spot that Charlie Dempsey did because it's Charlie Dempsey and he's not all that entertaining.
No, the best part was the ending, to be honest, because they went from that submission and the way it was looking to Eddy taking advantage and rolling for the pin. I was like, and I was surprised it was over because when it happened, I thought Charlie had kicked out. And then all of a sudden I hear the bell and everybody comes in like right away. It's like the timing of it was so fast. I didn't realize it was the 3 count.
I loved how Evan Bourne. No, it's not right. Miles Bourne.
Wrong Bourne.
Wrong Bourne. Yes, there are so many Bournes that I could have said. Ozzy Osbourne, Matt Bourne, Evan Bourne, all the Bournes, but no, it's Miles Bourne. And Gulak, get in there. Like you say, the bell rings, and within a half a second, it seems like they're right in there. Good on them for getting in there real quick. I really appreciate it. Sorry, I got a text message that really just distracted me for 2 seconds. I apologize. No, I thought this was really great. Eddy gets the win. He needs it. He's going to get thrown to the Lions next week because I'm guessing, because we haven't seen this yet, but I'm really guessing that it's going to be Braun Breaker versus Eddy Thorpe and Kiana James versus JC Jane in next week's Iron Survivor matches. Because remember, the whole thing that they were playing up during this match and during the promo last week is that they're both trying to make their case to be in these Iron Survivor qualifiers. Mm-hmm. Eddy Thorpe is the perfect person to just throw at Braun Breaker and let him get destroyed. Like, I like Eddy. I know Mel likes Eddy, but it's absolutely the kind of guy that you would throw to Braun Breaker to let him get destroyed in this match. We got a couple comments on the other side. We got Chris Parrish saying, is the next WTF we do about the trivia? Okay, so the next episode of Ring Respect Radio is the trivia one, where I can try to take back my YouTube championship from the Chris Parrish. We also have Barry Monkey saying Bjorn Borg, as in one of the other Borns that we have in there. Yeah, it's possible. We then have everybody coming to pay the Dawn, all the protection money's being paid. All right, we're going to continue. It's now really having issues, and I don't think we're on Twitch anymore. So we're going to take a small break for just a moment. So anybody watching on me and Astrid's side, give us a moment. You know what? For those that are still here, I'm going to go ahead and play the calendar video while I try to get somebody in here to help fix this. So we're going to play the calendar a couple times, and we'll be right back.
You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa. I can see, I can hear, going crazy by the light. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. I get you out of my hand again.
Hello, we're back. We're just going to try to go with it. I don't know if we're still streaming on the Our Local Establishment YouTube, Twitch. If you're there and you can hear this, if you want to jump on over to me or Astrid Streams, go ahead and do that, and we will be able to continue. Yeah, Allie's saying that we went offline on the other channel. Yeah, that's what I thought happened. Sorry about that, everybody. Yeah, Barry says we're not live. Allie says we're not live. Barry says we're not live. So we're only on the other two. Yeah, so we're going to try to continue. Hopefully people will filter over. Barry said goodnight. All right, Barry. Hopefully, if you're still with us, that's great. If not...
No, he's here before that.
Okay.
I mean, not before, after.
All right. We're going to try to continue because we've only got a couple things left. And we'll figure this out. If anybody wants to see this and they haven't seen the whole episode and they don't want to see portions of the train wreck, please go ahead and watch it on YouTube. It'll be on YouTube tomorrow afternoon. Give it a like. Give us a subscribe. We're trying to get the YouTube numbers up for this show because while we do fun numbers here on Tuesday nights, we always like to go ahead and have it, on the YouTube side too. So even if you watch the show, just go ahead and hit the like button on the YouTube side. every week, that would be greatly appreciated. It helps push it out to people who might not see it, so we can have new friends come in here every week. We were talking about how everybody's coming to pay money to the Dawn. They go ahead and pay in their protection money, and then they leave, and they're like, remember that little Rizzo girl, and she was hanging out with us when she was a kid, and now she's here, and she's now the security. And I'm like, wait, she's the security? What the hell? Like, I like the idea that they have her as security. And like, yes, women can be security, but this little itty bitty thing is not going to scare anybody. Like, it's one thing if she were Ivy Nile and she looked like she could beat us all up, but Little Miss Adriana Rizzo is not the scary lady that she needs to be for the protection services that they were getting paid. But it is what it is. We then have an Ariana Grace promo, which was fantastic. And she goes ahead and has this fantastic 2-minute video package to set up a match with Carmen. But my favorite thing is she's like, I want you all to come and watch. But I want y'all to take a shower and use deodorant first, because I was out there last week and it smelled, and I'm just like, oh, she's been to an indie wrestling show. She understands that. Like, so this is a common thing about indie wrestling shows, where a lot of the people who go to the shows, they don't have the best hygiene. Wrestling fans aren't the greatest endorsers of ourselves, and we have Barry Monkey saying the whole Mafia thing was silly and boring. It's silly, yes. It's a little boring, yes. But I like that they're still keeping the Tony D'Angelo stuff like that. It makes a lot of sense. But I get what you mean. I do agree that it's definitely silly and it can be boring. I thought that was way too long for what it ended up being, where the Garzas attack him and we have the tag team match for next week. We have Ariana Grace calling out essentially Carmen for next week, and I think that'll be fun. After this, we went to commercial break. When we came back, we got confirmation that it's going to be Cameron Grimes versus Bronson Reed versus Johnny Gargano versus Wesley. And if Wesley wins that fantastic match, he's going to go ahead and get the North American title opportunity at Deadline against Dominic Mysterio. I'd like this to be the winner gets a shot at Dominic Mysterio, as opposed to if Wesley wins.
I mean, well,
That's not how it's worded. On the broadcast, it was worded, if Wesley wins, he gets a North American title shot. And I feel like to make it more reason for the other guys to try to win the match, I feel like it should have been whoever wins the match gets Dominic Mysterio. I think it would have been funny if like Gargano wins or Cameron Grimes wins and we get Dom versus one of these guys at Deadline. I think it could be fun. And it could continue telling that Wesley keeps losing story, which I think really still needs to be told, because I think we stopped telling it for no good reason. And it was a good story. But it is what it is. We also get Lawler's Iron Survivor matches next week. I'm not looking forward to that promo on. Yeah. And then we also get, for the tag team championships, the Garzas taking on the D'Angelo family. So that'll be fun. We'll have that good match. But yeah, next week seems like a good show. And then we get the main event. Lyra Valkyria selling the concussion, taking on Xia Li in what I thought were size, like Raphael size. They're just sticks, right? He just has these little metal sticks.
No.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to go first on this one because I have thoughts. This wasn't the train wreck I thought it would be. I'm not a huge fan of either one of these individuals. I'll be honest. I'm not. I don't think either one is the greatest of wrestlers. I think they're both good wrestlers. And you know what? They had a good match. It lasted about 10 minutes. It felt like it was supposed to feel. It felt like a title match. They had a lot of aggression going on. Xia Li has a very interesting moveset that I really like. Lyra Valkyria has a moveset I enjoy a little bit less. But it made sense. The story they were telling made sense. Xia Li was going for the head. Xia Li was trying to take her down. The whole thing made a lot of sense. There was a couple times where I thought they were setting up spot, do spot. Set up spot, do spot. And I don't mean set up spot like, oh, they're in the moves and they're doing the things. It's like literally step, step. Okay, I'm in position. You're in position. Do the spot. You know, we've talked about some of the less experienced women. It doesn't just flow well. It didn't flow the greatest, but it didn't flow poorly either. It felt like it was a good match, had been worked on, and it felt good. I enjoyed it. It was a good match. It got time, which is surprising because even NXT doesn't always have. We have Chris Best saying, so the OLE side completely crashed while I was out of the room. Yeah, we had to change the password for some reason, and the OLE is now no longer connected to the Twitch on the StreamYard side. It's Parrish is in the middle of trying to fix it. So thank you for jumping over to one of the other two streams, Chris. We greatly appreciate it. Ashton, what did you think of this championship main event?
I like the fact that they kept going with that part of like showing Zaya being like vicious, and she was not afraid to go for it. You could see her focusing a lot of the injury. She already started going like, I already begun the attack. Let me continue on with this. And she kept focusing on that through the match as it was happening. And there was so many moments that she was taking over the match in itself too. Like you could see like kind of making you think in a way as if like Lyra could have a possibility of losing this match, which at the end I know she was not gonna lose it, but the fact that they made me think about it, you know, during the match was, I think, a great way to like tell us like, you know, she's at risk here because of the previous injury, and we're gonna continue on with what happened at the beginning of the show as well. And like again, it's still even with loss, it's like Xylee really showed out during the match, and it happened with Becky as well. She, even with losing both of the matches in a row, she looked great in both of them during the match in itself. I'm just hoping they kind of pick up her momentum next week somehow during Raw, give her some type of match that she's able to win and keep going from there, because I feel like this is one of the few times where actually see her getting showcased. And I really like that about these two matches, and this one particularly as well. Like she looked great during this. She looked like such a great heel, like, you know, doing the work and continue on what she started. And you can tell it's like she came in the match with a certain mindset, with a certain plan in mind. And it's nice to see her like kind of continue on the plan that she had from the get-go. Lyra, again, you mentioned, and I saw it in the replay later, like her finisher looked better this time around than what she had done before. I'm like, that's what we needed from the beginning. What happened?
You know? She's a great new finisher. Love the Lyra. 2 thumbs up. Love the new finisher.
That one.
That thing is fantastic. It's some kind of like a version of like a Death Valley driver, like Michinoku driver thing. It looks great. I love it. It's actually effective as opposed to her little tadpole fall down off the top rope splash.
Better than that anticlimactic splash she was doing. So,
you know what? Like I said, I'm all for giving the women time and letting them because the one thing we've always said is, while not all of these women are ready for the big time, ready for the spotlight, NXT's like, look, we're going to send you out there. We're going to give you the attempt. We're going to let you go out there and try to do well. And you know what? NXT focused on the women tonight. We had the segment with Ariana Grace and Carmen. We had the 2 Iron Survivor matches. Tiffany and Fallon still aren't done because you still have those 2 going at it, with Tiffany Stratton literally just congratulating Josh Briggs. Nothing else other than congratulating Josh Briggs. It was a great show. It was fun. It did the things it needed to do. It was a big show getting ready to head into a big show in a couple weeks at Deadline. And speaking of Deadline, remember that there will be a preview and a post show for NXT Deadline coming up. We don't quite have guests yet, but we have some ideas in mind. So we've got some feelers out there. So, but yeah, this was a great time. I really enjoyed this show. Ashton, what did you think?
Yeah, I keep thinking of a little bit of what Barry's saying here. It was average. It was like nothing bad and nothing good. It was like in between about it. It had its good moment. It had its bad moments. I'm just hoping that next week is a little bit better, because it was all right for me. I was hoping it will be better going into Deadline, but maybe we'll have next week.
I mean, remember, we've still got 2 or 3 weeks heading into Deadline. Like Deadlines, we've still got 2 shows, a show next week, a show the following week, and then Deadline. So we've got time to do stuff to Deadline. And we still, like, I feel like we have a good idea of what we're seeing at Deadline. I don't know what we're going to see in the women's division as far as Deadline's concerned. For like, we got the 2 Iron Survivor matches. We know that for sure. We've got the men's championship match. And it sounds like it looks like we're going to have either a North American, we're going to probably have a North American Championship match. And then we're either going to have Heritage Cup or a tag team championship match, potentially a deadline. Although having it next week, maybe we don't have it NXT.
I was going to say between Lyra and Xia Li happening tonight and having the tag team championship next week, I don't think those two matches are going to be on deadline. Plus, if you think about it, Iron Survivor is going to take a lot of time. So I don't expect them to have a lot of matches on the card as it is either way.
Yep, 25 minutes per Iron Survivor because it's two people start and then it's 5 minutes apiece for each of the other three for a total of 25 minutes. So 50 minutes for just those two matches plus entrances and stuff. We're looking at about an hour. Chris Best says, yeah, it wasn't just an okay show. Everything seems in place for what we can expect from a PLE. Yeah, it wasn't the best show in the world, but I felt like they had two big headlining pieces and they were smart. One went in the beginning of the show. One was supposed to be and was always going to be the main event. And they gave us a little twist to get there. I liked it. It was fun. You know what? Just because it's fun, as we head on out, we're going to go ahead and play that 5-minute video from Astrid again that she put together for those that might not have seen it earlier. But Astrid, where can the good people find you for the rest of this week?
Hopefully Ladies Wrestling Showcase. I keep saying that. No, I don't have work this week, thankfully. Woo! So we hopefully be able to do a show this week. Yeah, other than that, I hopefully be releasing a writing piece sometime maybe this week. I hope. We'll see how that goes. But other than that, everything else you can find on my YouTube channel and on my socials down there too.
And let's not forget, Astrid has merch. You can go ahead and buy this lovely piece of merch from Astrid Pizarro. This wonderful shirt that Astrid's wearing on there is the shirt. You need to get one for yourself so we can see the shirt in real life. But yeah. And speaking of merch, Black Friday's coming up. And if you want to buy something for the wrestling fan in your life, go ahead and use Astrid's affiliate link with WWEshop.com. You can go ahead and scan this QR code right here. And when you buy the same things that you buy for the same prices you'd buy them for on WWEshop.com, Astrid gets a little bit of it back. It's not a bad thing. It just gives a little bit back to Astrid on her end. And that's nice because the more things that Astrid gets from that, the more fun stuff she can have. For me, you can go ahead and see me. You can go ahead and follow me on Twitter at EdFries12584. You can go ahead and catch me on Twitch at EdFries2002. I've got Wrestle Draft tomorrow night. As long as we can get the Twitch thing sorted out, we'll be back live on the normal. Oh, is it back up already? Even better. You can go ahead and catch me and Parrish as we go ahead. We are back live on Twitch. There we go. You can go ahead and catch me and Parrish tomorrow night as we duke it out in the next 4 weeks, building up to the next Premium Live event. So it's going to be a nice show heading into Thanksgiving. And then you can also find me next Tuesday night with Astrid Pizarro as we talk all things NXT. And maybe this weekend you can go ahead and find a special YouTube-only tier ranking of the NXT Women's Division if Astrid can find some time in her busy work schedule to go ahead and record with me.
I literally just saw you come off for that wink. Come on, Ed.
I know. I'm just teasing. You can also catch me and Parrish, I forgot to mention this Friday night as we go ahead and we do after SmackDown. We're going to be doing pay-per previews as we go ahead and preview Survivor Series. Lots of fun stuff going on that show, so definitely go ahead and check it out. Remember, you can go ahead and find our local establishment at all the wonderful places down here. Please go ahead and give them a follow. And like I said, if you haven't already, go ahead and follow the YouTube channel. Go ahead and give it a subscribe. Go ahead and give this video a nice thumbs up if you're watching it on YouTube in the future. We greatly appreciate it. We love you all. Thank you for joining us. Let's see what kind of comments we got at the end of the show. We got Barry saying, are you going to see Von Wagner managing Robert Stone's kid in a match with the school bully who turns out to be Dominic? It's possible. I could see that happening. I could definitely see Von Wagner going. That's the segment we're probably going to get next week is Von Wagner going to this kid's school. And Barry says, good night, everyone, and happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. We greatly appreciate that. Happy Thursday for you, Barry, in the UK. I know you guys don't celebrate that over there. So thank you anyways. And for those that are still here, we're going to go ahead and play the video. Oh, wait, no, hold on. I was like, it's right here in the thing. It's not. I have to pull it back up again. Give me 2 seconds. Astrid, vamp.
Either way, it's been a year. Thank you, everybody, for the guests that we had so far. Thank you for everybody like Barry, who's here every single week. And thank you, Ed, for finally taking over.
I'm still temporary.
No, you're not. The video literally showed it. It's not temporary anymore. Come on,
Still
there's
temporary.
video evidence now. You can't say anything.
Hold on.
I know.
can't
Thank
find
you
the
for
link.
being my tag partner every single week.
I can't
Dang it.
find the link. There it is. Hold
You
on.
sure?
I found it.
Okay. Making sure. Yeah, it'll be officially uploaded on my YouTube channel either tonight or tomorrow. So if you missed it during the show, you can watch it later, and I'll put it on my socials tomorrow too. So I figured everybody will enjoy it too.
You guys can see what kind of videos I've been watching on YouTube. You can see that
Uh-huh.
I got to watch this Gunther video. I got to watch more Uncle Roger reactions. I got some fun Among Us stuff in here too. But we're going to go ahead and play this, and then we're going to head on out. So have a good night. Thank you, and goodbye.
Everyone, to the very first edition of Taking Over. I am your host, Chris Parrish, and this is just the natural. Astrid, thank you for joining.
Of course, I had to.
Well, I mean, I think we got to do this stuff. We got to start this off the right way. I think we know 1, 2, 3.
And welcome to Taking Over. I'm not Chris Parrish, but I am Ed Fries. Back again for a one-night only NXT reunion, sort of. Joined by my tag team partner. Nope, not that way. Have to listen to him that way. astridpizarro, normal co-host of Taking Over. Parrish will be back. Parrish is taking the night off. He's got some things to take care of. But don't worry, he will be back in his normal seat, taking over next week. Welcome to Taking Over. Again, I'm joining Astrid one more time. We couldn't do it once. The dynamic duo's got to be back for 2. Welcome to Taking Over. I am Ed Fries, and I'm joined by Astrid Pizarro. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing well. And we're going to start the show with some news. Might as well start the show with some news. So, as you all know, Parrish started the show when NXT ended over at our other home and whatnot. But things have changed, and unfortunately, Parrish hasn't been able to make the shows lately. And he has asked me that if I would temporarily take over Taking Over. So you got it back. The NXT twosome. Hello. Oh, wait, we're on the wrong sides. Hold on. There we go. We can fix things. I'm Ed Fries. I'm joined by Astrid Pizarro. Astrid, how are you tonight?
Doing good. How are you?
This was a wild episode of NXT.
Oh, we go right into it. Okay.
and I use wild in all connotation. Welcome to another episode of Taking Over. I am OLED, and I'm joined by my tag team. Wait, that's not Astrid Pizarro. That's Mark Talks Wrestling. How you doing, Mark?
Oh, I'm pulling my pants. Not gonna lie, I am so excited, but at the same time, I know I'm not going to be anywhere near how good Astrid is.
There you go.
I am in misery.
Hey, wrong one. This one. Our wonderful friend Mark Talks Wrestling is joining us. Dallas's #1 fan. He always has Dallas boys on top. Joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thankfully, by our wonderful guest, SCW Steve from the SCW Wrestling Channel. We love being on his show. We thought once we should bring him on our show.
Well, I can tell you, it's a privilege to be here, and I thank you for both having me. And funnily enough, last year on my channel for the Great American Bash, you were both guests. We were all talking about the show last year. So to have me this year here, honestly, it's a privilege to be on our local establishment and to be collaborating with you both once again.
I thought about that on Tuesday. We were talking about it. I'm like, we were on his show last year, and it was pure happenstance. I didn't even realize it until literally Tuesday. I was like, oh wait, didn't we talk about this show last year together too?
Yeah,
very much. It's meant to be.
It is.
Yeah.
The great things are always meant to be. Brett
Absolutely.
versus Owen, the heel turn on the Shield, the third man in the NWO, and the three of us talking about the Great American Bash.
Absolutely. Shall we reveal the news now? I signed a 4-year contract, so I'll be here for the next 4 years. We'll all talk about the Great American Bash once again.
There we go. We're locked in. Steve broke the big news. 4 years, me, Ashton, and Steve. No matter what channels we work on, we're going to be doing this every year for the next 4 years.
Absolutely.
Let's see if
Not other than the wonderful, the talented, and hardworking Ella J. How are you, Ella?
What's up, Astrid? I'm so happy to be here.
Parish, I totally forgot I used to be on the show. Laugh a lot.
4 minutes, Parish. 4 minutes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Battlegrounds preview show. I am OLED Ed Fries, and I'm joined by my tag team partner, astridpizarro. And we are joined by the one and only VR Doc, writer for all things pro wrestling at Bleacher Report, Doc Chris Mueller. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys.
And we are joined by Victor Taylor Perry, the man, the myth, the inspirational legend himself. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to talk about Vengeance Day.
Angry at Ali for the refereeing and trying. He's like, just keep being a fantastic professional wrestler.
Yeah.
Leave your refereeing, days behind you. And Tyler Bate comes in bad out of hell. He's pissed off.
He's like, that's rubbish.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark.
Mark, you'll hear that tomorrow, and I'll get a message. She didn't do it right.